Social Justice Goblin! Welcome to the backyard! Financial warning, this is for entertainment purposes only. Any financial advice you get is wrong and will lead you to losing money. Do not risk anything on the stock market unless you're willing to lose money. And this is more for my record than anything else and for entertainment purposes only. So, are we clear? Good. So last video I talked about how I've started investing, and so I decided to cover my positions, what I'm investing in. So I've decided to bet heavy on the EV market. So I did my research on the EV market and I came up with a long list of companies. The first one was I wanted a high risk startup. So, you got to get in on the startups. So I picked between Church Capital, Kenmove, Lordstown, and Fisker. And so doing my research, I wasn't happy with Kenmove's selection. In Lordstown, their truck is more expensive than the other trucks on the market. So, but I liked Fisker's product line, and Church Capital, I just like the idea of unlimited. That it's a blank check, and that company, they'll put whatever it takes to make it successful. So Church Capital so far has been my weakest investment. The next one I picked was, then I decided, well, where's the big market going to be for EV vehicles? Well, the U.S. is going to be an obvious big market, but that's tied up by Tesla and the big automobile companies. But in China, there's a war brewing out between the American companies and three Chinese players, NIO, XPeng, and Li Auto. Now, Li Auto is the least of my favorites of this bunch, so I only have a small position in Li Auto, but I bet on all three. I bet heavy on NIO because NIO looks like it's going to be the dominant market player in China and is now spread over to Norway, which is a huge EV market. And if they can tap that market, they can make a lot of money. XPeng is Chinese government financed, according to my brother. So it's a safe bet, but it's not a great attraction. Then I decided to invest in some blue chips to just kind of have a slow gain. Low risk, slow gain with dividends. And so I picked General Motors and Ford. Then I was like, well, what about the charging stations? Because that's where profit is. So I picked two companies that are related to that, ChargePoint and Blink Charging. And I put heavy positions in this because I think infrastructure is going to increase tremendously with the infrastructure plan and the push to move us more towards electrical cars. Then I picked an odd duck, a high risk. It has yet to sell anything, and it's really a risky bet. But its technology is really cool. So what it's doing is it's converting trucks from gas to electric or hydrogen. Because here's the thing that's going on in the EV market. Right now, we have two choices for which car type we're going to go with. We're going to go with either electric, which I think in the next 5 years we'll see a massive growth, or hydrogen, which is starting to see some growth in America, and I see hydrogen being more prevalent on the truck side of things than on the car side of things. Because it's easy to adapt truck stops to do it, and they're starting to adapt it. They got over 150 truck stops. So Hyliion, or whatever, Hyliion, makes conversion kits to convert trucks to either electric or to hydrogen. It's a great idea. It seems to work. It's proof of concept. They're working with fleets to, like the Budweiser fleet. So I think it's right now undervalued. It was at $10 a share. I think it will easily double its money if it succeeds, and if it fails, I'm out. 100 shares, I'm out a couple $100. High risk for 100% return. Then I looked into some others, like working on the power sources, Romero Power and QuantumScape, but I didn't like their numbers, and I didn't see their good job growth, and their technology isn't going to be out for another 5 years, so they're far to market on their technology, so I passed on those two. Then I was like, well, what about the actual machines themselves that charge the vehicles? Well, I found a company called ABB that makes those, and so I don't have a position in that yet, but I plan to put a position in that. And then I just had some then Blink which is my hydrogen bet, because just like Highline is kind of my hydrogen bet. I wanted to bet on a hydrogen stock, so I'm thinking Blink and Nikolai as my hydrogen bets. And then just because my brother just obsesses on it, Plug. He finds it really good. I don't see it as a large player. I think I see AAB as a bigger player than Plug in the actual meter machine market. But we'll see. So those are my investment positions in EV stocks that I'm investing. Would I recommend that you invest in EV stocks? Well, they're starting to see massive gains. I am now at $2,230. And also, another thing that I took a position in was I bought $200 worth of Ethereum. Now, I know Ethereum, I'm kind of gun shy on cryptocurrencies because I'm not a big believer in that they're going to replace currencies yet. But the one that I think has the best chance of replacing currencies, because it's still fully supported and it's still being developed and it's changing its technology as we speak, is Ethereum. So I took a $200 position in Ethereum. So those are my investments. Again, this is for entertainment purposes only. You follow my advice, you're probably going to lose money.